Hey, shalom, Israel. Shalom, YouTube. Bless y'all. I haven't made a video in a while, but I wanted to come on and talk a little bit about this coronavirus thing, quarantine and all that, and just a little snippet. I think it was a year, 2 years ago by now, that I made a video talking about guns after one of the shootings that they had and how that people are still buying guns, and that America is not going to get these firearms out of the hands of Americans. And that rings even more true with this whole quarantine thing going on. Still working at that same gun store, and I still see even the more so just an insane amount of firearms and ammunition flying off the shelves consistently. Even before, like right when this stuff started happening, sales started picking up. So much to the point that I remember one day I was working, the gun cases and the shelves were looking a little thin, so I made sure I put out at least 40 guns. And by the time I came back to work, and it was about a week later, there were maybe a fifth of those guns left. Out of all the guns that were in the case and on the shelves, there was maybe a fifth of those guns left. There's been a lot of increase in the time it takes to get a background check back, only because that system can only handle a certain number of inputs per hour, and that's a national system. So if anyone across the country is purchasing a firearm, they have to go through that system either by phone or by internet. And particularly with California being such a big state, they do background checks every time somebody buys ammunition, so it bogs the system down. So it takes longer for even somebody who's just getting a regular firearm, and they may purchase one frequently enough that it should come back quickly. It's taking a lot more time with that. There's rarely any ammunition. They're rationing how many boxes people can get per caliber, and everybody's always asking when you get the next shipment in, and the legitimate answer is we don't know, because they don't tell at least the associates exactly when the shipment is coming. But the main thing is they get trucks in all the time, but it might not be guns and ammo on that truck at that time. The only reason we know is that they'll drop a pallet off by our section, and we got to unbox it and everything like that. So I just thought it'd be good for people to hear, from somebody who's working at a gun store and who sees the first hand. I had one guy, matter of fact, today I got off work, I had one guy, he had said that he'd been tiptoeing around, and he was pretty much, I could see it on his face, he didn't say it, but I could see it on his face, that he was essentially afraid of guns. He didn't want anything to do with them, and so on and so forth. But then he came in, he's like, I'm starting to kind of have a change of heart. I don't know what's going on. One girl came in, she bought 2 guns. She's like, it's his first gun, and they were the exact same guns. She just wanted a different color. But she had a run-in with a drug addict who was just knocked out on her porch and was trying to get in. So she came in and got a gun. This guy, he's like, I'm going to get it. Just want to train with it. I want to learn how to do it the right way. He said, I've never even shot gun, or he said he's never held guns before, and her own one, excuse me. So he was looking to change that to protect his family and everything like that. So there's countless stories of people who never thought to buy guns, never was thinking about guns, coming in and having a change of heart to buy guns. Then on the other side, there's the usual people that they've been buying guns, they've been long time gun advocates and everything. They've been stocking up ammo, and so they come in looking to just pick up a few boxes here and there, and of course they're upset and distraught because we don't have any. So you get both sides of the spectrum, with those who have been prepared, at least to a degree that they're content about, to the point that they're just looking for a few rounds or something like that, and then they're troubled because of the panic buying, the fear, and the greed of everybody else. But then on the flip side, people that were against guns or just didn't, maybe indifferent about them, now they're changing their tune to the point that they want some guns. And constantly, everybody's coming in. You got this, you have this, you got 9mm, you got 5.56, you got 9mm, you got 5.56, you got some buckshot, you got some, just all the different calibers and everything of rifle, pistol, and shotgun ammo. And looking for it, and we'll get something in, it's off the shelves. And that's even with the rationing. And then I even looked at some of the numbers of the store that I work at, because they allow associates to look at certain things. So I was even looking at the numbers of the sales budget and the hours, and they're maxed out at overtime hours. Now normally they would be throwing a fit about that, obviously because it's messing up their bottom line, but they have been over their sales budget quite a bit. And for example, the one girl who bought 2 guns, that was almost $1,000 right there. So constantly people coming in doing this, especially when income taxes, income tax refunds, tax refunds are coming in, or people getting these stimulus checks. It's been an uptick in sales. Usually it's an uptick in sales around this time because it's tax season. People usually get guns around the pagan holidays and everything, and then around tax season, it's usually when the sales spike. So seeing it spike with the tax refunds, people at home not doing much. Some places are still working, some places aren't. And then also now these stimulus checks rolling in, it's putting people in a position where they're like, shit, F it, give me some guns. And they're just buying stuff left and right now. So, just anything. One guy, he calling in, hey, do you have this rifle? Do you have this? Do you have any AR-15s? Yeah, got something right there. All right, just give me one. I'm like, you don't want to? He's like, no, just give me that one. What's that? Yeah, give me that one. They're just constantly buying it. And I look at it kind of both ways. One, it's a good thing that, I think it's a good thing that Americans are exercising their right, particularly while they still have the ability to do so, to purchase firearms and ammunition and train and practice and have something to defend themselves and their personhood and their loved ones from tyranny. But at the same time, as our shepherd has told us, these are things that they should have done a long time ago. I think it's better to be in the camp of those who are coming in just trying to constantly replenish and keep their supplies up, and then it's a minor annoyance or a minor inconvenience that you can't do it because everybody else is freaking out and panic buying stuff. So I think it's dual-fold, but it is good to see so many people buying the guns, and I think it still reigns true. There's no way that they're going to get all these guns from Americans, and particularly in the rural places, in the country, in the South. It's just not happening. They love their guns too much, and I'm noticing that. If I'm not mistaken, the sales budget that they had for at least this past week or something, like last week, they exceeded it. Excuse me, I believe by like 120%. Even with the extra overtime hours for labor, they were still at like 120% of their sales budget. So I thought that that's pretty interesting, because other retailers, Walmart, different food service, a lot of food service and everything, they're closing, and just heading back and forth to work, I can see a lot of restaurants closing, and even at the university that's in one of the towns my apartment's in, is they did online classes and everything, and the town is pretty much a ghost town, even though this is normally the time of year is warming up and it'd be a lot of people outside, and it's not. It's a ghost town. Restaurants are closed, the academic buildings are closed, all classes are online, and they even recommended some of the students go home and go back to their res halls, or go back to their parents' house and go back to their houses, and leave the dorm rooms. And I don't know if they've refunded any of the students or anything like that, but I just thought it's just something with everything going on. The peace of being prepared is invaluable. It really is. All praises to the Most High Yah for giving His people the ears to hear, through the shepherds, particularly after the messages we got this past Shabbat. A blog talk, pastors and Pastor Corey and Elder Rufus. It's beautiful. Truly, I can't express enough gratitude except to try to go harder and to do a better job. Like Elder Mitchell said, be prepared, but at the same time, wanting to do a better job, wanting to be more prepared, be more, sound in everything across the board. So, hope this helps. Just food for thought. Just kind of a eyewitness account, I guess, of what I'm seeing out here at the gun store. And that's the other thing with this. It's like a tractor supply company type of stores, farms and home store. With the non-essential things that people claiming that they're not selling seeds anymore, not selling plants and stuff like that. That's not true, at least in this store. Walmart and them might be doing that, but these places, they sell chickens, they sell ducks and rabbits, and there's even like kind of a third party thing where people can buy goats and dogs from different vendors and stuff like that. So there's a country store. They're still selling seeds. I just saw a whole shelving unit full of starter plants. They're still selling seeds. So still selling seeds, still selling starter plants. They're still going at it. So that's the difference between the city and the country, because at least in the country, it's almost like business as usual. I will say, when this thing was first hitting off, I could tell people were starting to try to, if it wasn't just for the country people who hadn't considered before were starting to try to be more rural. Because I remember I went in there, and this was the week after I put those 40 guns out. All the chickens and the ducks were gone. I think there were all the chickens were gone, and there were maybe 6 ducks in the whole store. There were all the chickens, and they got those big old, feed bins. They put the baby chicks in there, keep them warm and all that jazz. And all of the chicks were gone, all of them. There wasn't, other than those few ducks, there wasn't a single living animal in the store. So it's amazing to see it, the difference between the city and the country, and also just how invaluable it is to be prepared, to have the ears to hear, to listen. And I think the most important thing that I realized is I looked at my family, my household, and I don't see fear on my woman's face. I don't see fear on my son's face. To them, nothing's really changed. Nothing's really different. And I can tell that they're at peace. They're at security. They're safe. They have everything they need, and more than what they need, and even things that they want. It's just, they're at peace. And I owe all of that to the Most High Yah, to His men, His saviors, Pastor Dow, Pastor Corey, all the elders, teachers, and deacons, and all the righteous men that are over me. I greatly appreciate it, because through their wisdom, their knowledge, and understanding, my family is safe and good. And it's such a wonderful feeling as a man to be able to look at my family. I even asked my woman, I was like, you feel like, do you fear not having enough food or not having enough? And she literally laughed. She's like, no, I'm good. She just laughed and scoffed at it because she couldn't fathom it. And there's nothing but the Most High. So I give Him all the praise for it. And it's just, like Pastor said, where would we be if He wasn't preaching, if He wasn't there, if we didn't hear His voice? And I'd be just like anybody else in these cities, just like anybody else stuck in this matrix, in this Gentile culture, just lost. So, hallelujah. All praise to the Most High Yah for that. So blessings. Hope this helped anybody, or just give eyewitness of what's going on in the gun stores and everything like that. So, shalom.